Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. Today we're going to spend some time and talk about the dub voice acting industry. Now, anime dub voice actors have been a big topic of discussion recently, mainly revolving around how poorly they are paid. The recent discussions began after voice actors who provided the dub for the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero film revealed that they were paid as low as $150 for their roles. Meanwhile, the film has earned roughly $160 million internationally, and roughly $30 million of that total coming from ticket sales in North America where the dub is featured. This was a topic I discussed in a video a few days ago, and many of my viewers asked how unions could help prevent situations like this. Doing my own research into the matter, I found the article we're looking at now, which is very helpful at explaining how the dub industry interacts with related labor unions. The short version of this video is that companies like Crunchyroll and Funimation have historically and will likely continue after their merger to take advantage of state laws that allow them to avoid contracting directly with unions and have the freedom to hire any voice actors they want, union or non-union, at any price they want. But now, let's work our way through this article because it paints a very clear picture of how companies get away with paying dub voice actors so little. So first, what kind of unions are available for dub voice actors in the United States? Well, turns out there is literally one option, the Screen Actors Guild, or as it's commonly referred to as SAG. However, this is a very powerful union in the field of entertainment, one that represents over 160,000 performers, including voice actors, and negotiates contracts with studios to guarantee consistent pay, working conditions, health insurance, and preferential casting for union members. A union dub is simply a show with a SAG contract in place. If a studio doesn't have a contract, members aren't allowed to work with them, and the studio has to hire non-union talent instead. But as we'll see, there are state laws that allow companies and union members to get around these restrictions, and therein lies the heart of the problem. Now, looking at these benefits, it might seem obvious to some that joining SAG is a no-brainer for someone trying to get into the dub voice acting industry. However, membership comes at quite the cost. To join SAG, a performer must pay an initiation fee plus the first semi-annual basic dues. The national initiation fee rate is currently $3,000. Annual base dues are roughly $200. In addition, SAG members have to give up nearly 1.5% of their earnings. And for a medium that is already underpaid, a $3,000 upfront initiation fee is already a huge obstacle to overcome. I mean, this is just getting your foot into the door. Not to mention, membership also forbids and potentially penalizes you for contracting with non-union companies. And spoiler alert, the biggest companies producing anime dubs are largely non-union. But again, as you will see, there are a few ways in which you can go around this, which makes SAG membership even more of a burden than a benefit. So it's important to note the majority of notable film and TV actors are union members, meaning that most productions also have to be union in order to cast them. The dubbing industry, however, is historically under-unionized, especially when it comes to anime. Virtually none of the shows produced by Crunchyroll or Funimation have ever fit the definition of a union show, much to their intent. The problem is that companies can afford to go non-union because many voice actors aren't SAG members, and voice actors can justify not joining the union because so many productions are non-union anyways. And when companies like Crunchyroll are dominating the industry, they like to convince voice actors that you have to fall in line with what they want, and that's being non-union, in order to have a meaningful shot at landing roles with them. Which is true in part. If you don't want to rock the boat, you can try to work with them as non-union, and you might have a better shot. But in the end, you get paid less and receive less benefits. So you may be asking yourself, well, how did we reach this point? How are unions so ineffective and underutilized in the voice acting scene? Well, a lot of this traces back to the less than respected history of dubs in the entertainment industry. Dubbing began as a small part of the film world, only used for localizing foreign films and short sessions for cleaning up dialogue, because it wasn't viewed with a lot of respect. The pay was low, and SAG didn't prioritize it in negotiations because they weren't financially incentivized to do so. And perhaps it comes as little surprise, but anime is what brought dubbing into the mainstream. However, even as the popularity of the genre boosted the need for dubbing, the rates remained unchanged. In fact, dubbing was such a low priority for SAG that, until recently, they were relying on a dubbing contract that was last updated in 2003. Luckily, things have changed. Through a group that campaigns on the behalf of voice actors, SAG released a new contract in 2021, increasing hourly rates for actors to $87 and simplifying the residuals requirement. As a result, a streaming service with fewer than 15 million subscribers like Crunchyroll only have to pay the hourly rate, while larger services, theatrical films, and primetime TV channels pay a flat buyout fee in lieu of residuals for a union show. So hearing those totals, I want to clarify a few things. To put in perspective for my viewers outside the US, minimum wage varies from state to state from around $7 to $15 per hour. Obviously, the rate SAG members get, $87 an hour, sounds really high, but keep in mind, this is a performance-based career. Voice actors don't show up in an office 5 or 6 days a week from 9 in the morning and then clock out at 5 p.m. They work in small bursts, often completing short projects spread throughout different companies and gigs. A dub voice actor might only be on a payable studio recording clock for a few hours out of the week, so that $87 per hour is a lot higher than it looks, which is the reason many voice actors have to diversify their workload and constantly be searching for new roles. Of course, companies that don't contract with SAG do not have to adhere to these rates at all. When asked, Crunchyroll did not provide a comment about their past and future union dubbing policies, and according to Coda, the pay rates for Funimation shows range between $35 to $75 per hour, depending on the number of hours worked. Now there's an elephant in the room that I've been hinting at periodically throughout this video. How is Crunchyroll and Funimation hiring both union and non-union voice actors without having contracts with SAG? Well, it has everything to do with particular state laws. You see, Funimation's dubs were produced largely in Texas, a right-to-work state, and will likely remain there under Crunchyroll management. Right-to-work laws, which exist in 27 states, allows workers to take a job at a company with a union contract without having to join the union or pay dues. This significantly reduces SAG's influence over studios by removing a source of their funding and their biggest bargaining chip, access to top talent. Ironically enough, SAG penalizes members for working non-union shows, driving some voice actors who work primarily with Texas-based companies, anime voice actors for instance, to forego union membership entirely. And despite alternative solutions existing out there to help make union contracts a smoother process, companies like Funimation and Crunchyroll don't want to budge on the topic. Now, as I close out here, I want to mention that I'm obviously not an expert in this field. There are countless dub voice actors who could explain this whole thing a lot better than me, but from what I have learned, it's pretty clear that this situation is a tough one. And with the merger of Funimation and Crunchyroll, if the now combined company continues to take advantage of state laws, things will only get worse for dub voice actors going forward. Of course, the simplest solution is to outright refuse to work until demands are met, but that's not realistic. People in this industry have jobs, families to feed, and with so much talent out there, one brave stand for workers' rights will be met with swift replacement. But awareness and people talking about it puts pressure on companies, and with the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero situation, we have seen how outraged people are at how actors are treated in this industry. So I really hope to see more dub voice actors speaking out and sharing their experiences in the hope that they can change this unfair situation. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe for more daily videos, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.